I will try to wake you up a little bit because I was invited to this conference only Monday evening, so I had no chance to prepare any presentation, and I will try to concentrate on certain points. First of all, I represent the Russian Salmon Association, which is NGO, and the idea of the association is just very different from we had in the past in Russia. We base on the private business, and we expect that recreational fishing is the source of funds and resources to improve the fish habitat, to have fish as a subject for recreational fishing. And we are a very small and very active group, financed by business connected with the recreational fishing, especially Atlantic salmon fishing on the Kola Peninsula. And at that time, we have some targets and we have some agenda to do. First of all, this is a recreational fishing law, which is under preparation now in Russia. And we work very hard to protect the system existing now in the Kola Peninsula when the companies can manage the rivers and can regulate the fish pressure. But now there is very strong populist way that, and the idea is that everybody can fish free of charge everywhere. It could destroy a system we have in the last 20 years, and this system is very good working. So we can say that Atlantic salmon fishing on the Kola Peninsula is comparable with Iceland. And even in Iceland, when I fished last year, they said that they used Russian experience, catch and release, in the major rivers, in the Atlantic rivers. So the second priority I would like to discuss with you from our organization is Norwegian netting in Finland. And this is a serious problem because I do not tell you about figures too much because you saw pretty figures today, but nevertheless, a little bit more than 400 people catch about 300 tons of wild salmon, and from 60 to 70% of the fish is originated from the Russian rivers. The total number of adult multi-season salmon migrating to the Russian rivers, the total for the north part of the Kola Peninsula, is less than the number of the fish caught by Norwegians in Finland. And as you know from the report by Rory, that from 30 to 40 fish creates a job, is it correct? So it's very important for the economy of the Kola Peninsula, but when we lose this fish, we cannot improve fishing. And I'm not speaking about the conflict between Russia and Norway. We're talking about the conflict between the international recreational fishing community and this coastal fishing. And I'm very pragmatical and realistic. I can tell you a lot about our activity and how we try to destroy the dams, to make fish letters, to fish passes, and to educate people and catch and release and other aspects. But when I go to some sort of event or meeting, I need a result. And I'm asking you to help me just in this particular subject. Because we need some sort of a resolution, if it's possible, as a mutual agreement that you agree that this is very bad. Because working such a way, it's a new approach in Russia, because I'm NGO representative. But at the same time, we use some officials in Russia as tools, which is a difference. Because Ori is right. You can send thousands of official letters to the Russian authorities with no result. The same, if you send the same number of letters to Norwegian authorities, also no result. But if you have a very active, private, small group which can run the process, it's more productive. So the idea that we try to run the process. We use the challenges we have, because the officials are very busy all the time, and especially now, and you probably know why. And it's not a simple matter for us to do this activity, but at the same time, they're slow, they have no real contact between different organizations, the fishery agency, Ministry of Agriculture, the Parliament. Also, they are not professional in this, and this is a very good challenge for us, because we know exactly what to do. And if we catch the process, we can run the process. So we can prepare the documents, and we have some very simple rules. Try to distinguish a fisherman, never ask for money, because immediately they will lose any interest in it. And prepare the documents yourself, even this is their responsibility, so they will never do this. So, and after some period of activity, when you are presented in every possible levels, commissions, committees, councils, expert groups, they are quite visible, and if they will, and with the cross references to the results of the events, right resolutions, we can lift the problem higher, higher and higher. And right now, as a result of this activity in respect to stop this Norwegian fishing, we managed to have an order from the Prime Minister of Russia to the Ministry of Agriculture and to the Fishery Agency to solve the problem. And he used the formula we created, we wrote this. And when he sent this order to these organizations, or again, they have no professionals. They again address us what to do. And we make a plan to them. And hopefully we will get a result soon. Because this is a big difference what we had in the past, because we waited for some result from the authorities, which is not productive. Now we are running the process. And this is the idea of the organization I represent. And I hope that it will help us to protect wild stock of Atlantic salmon. And the Russian Salmon Association is quite young organization, so 2.5 years. But I know already for more than 25 years, and I know some of you, Marriott, Martin Holmflint, and some other. We cooperate with young couple, because I represent outside the board members of the European Fish and Tackle Trade Association. So we try to use different contacts and tools. We are more flexible. If necessary, we use the state. We use officials and authorities. If necessary, we can contact directly, because we are open, we are flexible. And we invite you to participate in the process. If possible, because again, I can tell you hours and hours what we are doing, how great we are, and the targets we have. But right now, I want to concentrate on this particular point. We need some sort of a support from the international fishing, recreational fishing community to show the Norwegians that we need to stop this illegal fishing. Because they use illegal nets, they extended the fishing season, and they fish big salmon. They have selective tackle for this. And we cannot say that it's a traditional. They use mechanical big nets and boats, and only 400 people. Can you imagine that 300 tons of fish could create a lot of jobs and economical impact? At the same time, Norway exports to Russia 250,000 tons of farmed salmon. So from the economical point of view, it does nothing. And it's quite possible to solve the problem, because for this local 400 people, it's not just hobby. It's not a source for their life. And everybody understands, and nothing done now. But we can. And also, just a short reference to another status I have. I'm the deputy editor of the Russian Fly-Fishing magazine. So it's very important to educate Russian people about the experience we have, how to improve the environment, how to organize recreational fishing. You're truly welcome to send all information to me, and we will publish this, and we will educate Russians how to improve the habitat and how to improve the organization of recreational fishing. So I will leave there the cards. This is from the Russian Salmon Association, and this is from the Russian Fly-Fishing magazine. And please contact me on both issues. And if you have some questions, because I have very limited time, it gave me only 10 minutes. And I expected to tell a little bit more, but it may be better to answer questions if you have.
Stop importing 250 tons from Nordic.
Stop what?
Stop importing 250,000 metric tons from Nordic.
Yes. But unfortunately, the nearest plan is to build farming in Russia. And within 5 years, they want to produce 180,000 tons locally in Russia.
Yeah. Using equipment they couldn't use anymore in Norway because they were out there. I'm sorry.
But I met these people. It's a company named Russkaya More, which is Russian Sea, and they promised me to use very modern equipment to avoid. Of course. But what can you do? Because the head of the company is President Putin's good friend. So I'm very realistic. I cannot find against, but nevertheless, I will try to use some personal contacts to at least to reduce the damage or to change their plans a little bit because they're still thinking how to organize this. Even with not so big difference in respect to the they can use these isolated tanks for farming. And yeah, but they want to make these farms very close to the Norwegian boundary, west from Murmansk. Only 2 fjords, not further east from to Murmansk. So it's only 2 fjords and some limited number of farms.
Thank you very much.
Just a short question. As far as I know, the angling industry in Russia is not giving information on recreational catches or the catch and release fishing. Do you know if that will
Truly
change?
speaking, we have no real statistics about fishing, about catch and release. This is very strange because it's out of the. It's not, this term doesn't exist in the documents and fish regulations and fish laws. Right now, our target to install a chapter into the new law indicating catch and release as a criteria, as a category. Because, for instance, on the Kola Peninsula, at very good lodges, they have quota, for instance, for 100 salmon, and they catch and release, for instance, 1,000 fish a year. They release all the fish back. But end of the season, the local administration invites this lodge into the court and apply huge penalties because of the formal overcatch. Because for lawyers, from the formal point of view, every catch is killing. When it's indicated in a journal, caught and released, they understand this as caught and killed from the formal point of view, which is crazy. The lodge released all the fish back, but at the same time the company have to pay penalties because formally they quote 10 times more than they quote.
Okay, now we move forward, and I promise that you will get some emails from these people who will help you.
The emails or just some sort of a short resolution that you support this. I can use as a tool in my work
Yeah, we are drafting.
to refer.
We are drafting a resolution, so actually in the coffee break, I will put it on the screen and you can read it and you can write it some couple of sentences you would like to add, and then we can agree after coffee if we are okay with it or not.
And I understand that it will not solve a problem tomorrow, but will be a small brick in the building. Well, we can do it.